This is my old Sig Demoiselle. Demoiselle, whatever you want to call the damn thing. My brother gave it to me over 20 years ago, and I built it, and it has had quite a few crashes on it. The kit was made by Sig. It's a hoot to fly. I mean, you think a slow stick would win it in a race. This thing is stupid slow. I mean, a fast walk and it just stays in the air. Anyway, a couple things about it. My pilot I got from a dollar store, and if I could find another one of these, it would be great. He is absolutely hollow and seriously light. I cut up his limbs and put foam in there so that as he sits in the airplane, the stick is connected to the servos and the rudder pedals, and he actually flies the thing. But this airplane, like I said, it's been crashed many times. Those balsa wood sticks are so full of thin CA that this airplane might as well be made out of glass. So I'm going to rebuild the fuselage, and I'm going to see if I can't fill you guys in on how I'm going to do it. First of all, I started with some barbecue skewers. They're made out of bamboo. This is going to be the bottom end of things. You notice that this is missing this part. And if you know anything about the Demoiselle, you would know that the airplane itself was featured on an old movie called Those Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machines. And the airplane in that movie versus the real Demoiselle is different. It's part of the original, and yet the original is not part of this one. There are so many variations to this frame, it's not funny. But if you build this thing, I would suggest using those long poles back there. Even on the original one were bamboo. So that's what I've done. And these sticks are kind of short. So what I do is I sand them at a 45-degree angle. And I don't know if you can see this splice. Well, not a 45, but more like a 30-degree angle so that they match. Super glue them together, and then I wrap them in a little bit of silk. Now on the real aircraft, to keep the bamboo from splitting, they went and wrapped this every so often with fabric and dope to keep it from splitting. So I'm going to recreate that on mine. Now the backbone of this airplane right up here, oh by the way, that's a toilet paper tube. That's supposed to be his fuel tank. I'm going to put the speed control in here because I want everything hidden on this next airplane. But this backbone right here carries most of the stress of the whole aircraft. The engine mounts up here and it goes all the way back to the tail section. So what I have done is I build a new backbone, and this is square right now. I'm going to sand it round, but let me see if I can get it capture on. It's not going to. Down the middle of that is a round piece of carbon fiber rod. That's going to keep that thing from breaking, because I tell you, when this thing hits the ground, it's usually straight down, because it does have a nasty flying tendency that if you do not have any throttle on it, there's no air that goes across the tail end, and it quits flying. The tail end is like somebody cuts it right off. So you got to have a little throttle on it all the time. Well, you get this pilot-induced oscillation between full throttle to have some prop wash across the tail and off to get it to land, and it will start to porpoise, and usually that's when I meet the earth at a high rate. And this thing folds up like an accordion. I don't know if you've seen, let me see if I can come in on some of that. Every one of these things has been broken one place or another. I mean, it is so busted up, it's not funny. So it's got to get rebuilt, because this plane is really a crowd pleaser. To watch the guy fly the plane, and believe me, you're on the controls trying to keep it straight and level, and him mixing butter over there with his feet and his arm, it's really a hoot. like I said, it goes really slow and people can see it. I get more people wanting to photograph or video this airplane than any other plane I've got. Yeah, except maybe this one when I get it done. Yeah, the camel is put to the side yet again for an in-between project. Anyway, I'm going to start with some wheels here. After I got the frame started, I'm going to redo the wheels. My original wheels were made out of plywood rims. Plywood here in the center for the center section and a piece of dowel glued together, and then this is fishing line in between. The tire is a piece of fuel line. Once you get the fishing line, it's all one piece too. It's not tied off anywhere. It gets threaded. Wish I had a stand for my phone. It gets threaded up and down, over, down across the other one, and it just gets weaved all the way in and around. And then when you're done, you tie off the one end. Well, what that does is after you get it on there, you put it on the axle and you spin it. And if it's wobbling, you can adjust it, and the spokes will adjust, and you can line it up. And when you get it lined up right, you just put a little bit of CA on these points, and it keeps the wheel locked in. But it's looking pretty bad. It's really looking beat. So I was thinking I could use this piece of plumbing. This cost me a whole $10 for 2 of these. I'm going to cut them right here and right up here. And I'm going to take this side and I'm going to glue it to this side to form a wheel rim. I hope you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at. If I have that side over here next to this side, it's going to look like a wheel rim. And since it's plastic, it's going to be super light. For the tire, I think I found some round foam insulation. It's about 3/8 of an inch. And I should be able to wrap that into the rim and just super glue the ends together. And then I will make a hub like this out of wood, and I'm going to restring it. When I get to that point, maybe I'll show you guys how I do it. Anyway, thanks for watching.